What would you do if you went to visit family abroad and ended up having the scariest experience of your life? Seeing something that you only thought was real in horror movies. But this is way worse. Hello, hi, what up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Sabrina and my goal is to make every single day feel like a Halloween fever dream. A Halloween fever dream, of course. I know my style is all over the place. Some days I'm all pink, girly pop pink. Some days I'm all like Halloween, hello, boo, trick or treats. But regardless, I'm always me. Anyways, I was reading scary stories on Reddit last night and I came across this story that was really scary, to me at least. And the thing I like the most about this story is that it takes place in Japan. And if you know me, you know that I love Japanese urban legends. They're one of the scariest. You know I love urban legends in general, but nothing compares to Japanese urban legends, okay? They're really scary. And you know it. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with a friend who likes spooky things. Anyways, enough of me just rambling on and on. If you want to hear all about this scary Reddit story, just go ahead, turn up your lights, and stick around. Okay, before I start reading the story, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be linking the creator down below. This is by user XLLXNX. And this is Reddit No Sleep. Oh, I love that. This was posted about 7 years ago. Let's get started. Japanese graveyard. Every summer, without fail, my mother would take my sisters and I to Japan to see my grandmother and aunts. It was so much fun there. I loved going. Plus, I had a lot of friends and much more freedom than I did in America. My sisters, friends, and I would all stay out late, visiting different shops or racing down empty streets on our own bicycles. I really miss those days, if I'm being honest. But sometimes we cut it pretty close to curfew, which meant we had to find shortcuts to get to my home. Now, where my grandmother lived, there was 2 ways to get home. There was the longer but safer way, which was a sidewalk alongside a highway. There was no danger there since there were so many people that nothing bad could happen to you, without someone seeing, of course. And then there was the graveyard. Japanese graveyards are different. They tend to be smaller in space than American graveyards, and there isn't any space between the gravestones because bodies are not buried there. Instead, the bones and ashes of the deceased are put inside of a stone, resurrected for your family. It just so happened that my grandfather's stone was there. And right at the base of the tombstone, there was a large, heavy rock you could move to reveal a medium-sized space. In that space is where you would place the bones and ashes. Naturally, Japan has their urban legends and horror stories concerning their graveyards. Any kind who had a friend or had a social life knew these stories. Even I knew them, and the thought of going home through a graveyard in the dark did not appeal to my friends or sisters. They insisted on taking the longer and safer routes, but I was not about to face the fury of my mother if I arrived home past curfew. Oh, come on, don't be such a wimp. What's scarier is our moms when they're angry. I spoke jokingly, but my younger sisters were terrified of everything, and my friends were superstitious and locals refused. I should have known better. I should have listened to my friends who lived in Japan and knew the terrible stories of the graveyard. But after calling them wimps, essentially, I couldn't back out. So we ended up splitting up. I decided to take the shortcut while my friends and sisters took the long routes. Everything was fine at first. Sure, seeing some of the older, unattended, crumbling tombstones really scared me. Not to mention there was no light apart from the light that my bicycle was powering. I wasn't riding it. The sidewalk was too bumpy and had a lot of cracks in it. I was afraid I'd fall, so instead, I had to walk alongside my bike. You know that feeling you get when you're all alone and you start thinking of some scary story you've heard in the past? That uncomfortable feeling of dread slowly taking over your body. Yes, some people may say you get like that because you truly are in danger, while others say that it's just your mind thinking too much. But for me, it felt like something terrible would happen soon. But at the same time, I was afraid that if I made a run for it, whatever presence was in the graveyard would immediately kill me. So I was stuck in this hellish limbo of slowly walking through an empty graveyard at night all alone. I could see the exit now of the graveyard, and it brought me some relief. But the relief was short-lived. As soon as I thought that I would just jog to the exit, I heard a rustling, dragging noise somewhere behind me. I don't know why, but I froze. There were no bushes in the graveyard. Plus, there was no wind. So how was that sound being made? I could hear my own heart beating rapidly. Too afraid to move forward. Too afraid to look back. Then, there was a noise again. The sound of something heavy being dragged on the ground. Guys, knock it off. This isn't funny. Rika? Or is it you, Haruna? I called out. Maybe my friends had followed me and decided it'd be funny to scare the shit out of me. That was the most logical explanation for this noise. But there were no giggles or any response at all, indicating my friends were there. That was when I felt it. Something cold on my ankle. For a moment, I didn't know what I was feeling. But it was so cold, it almost felt like my skin was burning. My head snapped down to see something wrapped around my ankle. It wasn't what I would call a hand. It had a palm, and I guess what you might call fingers. But God, it was so thin and dried out. And rather than normal fingertips, each finger ended with a sharp point. I could feel each claw-like finger digging into my ankle, and my warm blood disrupting that burning, cold sensation on my ankle. The warmth of my own blood snapped me out of my trance. I slowly turned my head behind me, not knowing what I would see. I don't even know how I can describe it. It had no resemblance to a normal human being. Its body was long and thin, as if it hadn't eaten anything for years. And it had long black hair. Tangled, but as if each strand had a life of its own. They were moving when there was no wind. It would make me laugh at all future horror movies' attempts to scare me, and it would remain in my nightmares for years to come. The face was thin, as could be expected. There was a smile. It didn't look right. It just stretched and stretched, and the mouth was opening wider and wider as I stared. Its teeth were rotting, yellow and even some black, brown ones too. The smile was too wide, and the stench of the creature was overwhelming. And I couldn't tell if it had eyes. It just had sunken, hollow spaces where eyes should be. And yet, it looked like it was staring right into my own eyes. As I took all of this in a few moments, I realized its other arm was reaching for my other ankle. And with a scream, a sound I didn't even realize my small 10-year-old lungs could muster up, I ripped my ankle from her grasp and got on my bike and got out of there as fast as I possibly could. I didn't stop until I reached home, sprinting up the apartment stairs and bursting into the apartment. I screamed my mom's name, ready to show her my bleeding ankle and tell her everything. My mind was absolutely panicked. But when my mom finally understood what I was saying, she just frowned a little and pointed at my foot. There's no blood. And where's your shoe? Do not tell me you lost it. They were expensive. That's such a mom thing to say. I looked down and realized my shoe is indeed missing. And where I knew there had been blood oozing out before seemed closed up. Nothing remained except for my skin was a little red around the ankle, and it's been a lot of years since then and now. I'm pretty sure it was some sort of lucid dream I had. I had a big imagination after all. My mom said I never came home panicked, and my sisters and friends said that they were sure I had gone home with them. It's almost laughable how scared I was of a simple dream. I'm back in Japan again. I just attended my grandmother's funeral a couple days ago, but you know, something strange just happened. And that gave me the weirdest feeling of deja vu. I'm currently visiting the tombstone that has now both my grandmother and my grandfather's bones and ashes, and I just found a kid's size shoe on the ground. There's what looks like some dried blood on it. The shoe looks so familiar, but for the life of me, I can't figure out why. Okay, I didn't read the whole thing the first time I read it. What was that? Are you trying to like gaslight yourself? Person, what's his name or her name? XLLXNX. Are you trying to gaslight yourself? Something did happen, okay? It's not like a made-up story. Oh my gosh, I'm not saying it is, okay? I'm not. But in my experience, when something like really traumatizing happens to you, it feels like a dream. Have you ever had something so bad happen to you that you're just like trying to process the whole thing and it genuinely feels like a dream, okay? Maybe it wasn't a dream, but because he or she, because they were so young, maybe they're just saying it's a dream, but in reality, it wasn't. Oh my gosh, this is so interesting. I've had experiences like this in the past. I don't know if I made a video about this, but I saw this thing, this green like monster thing. It looked like an alligator, like a big alligator, right? It stretched out like, you know that mom from The Incredibles? Yeah, it stretched out and it got me and it put me right under the bed with it. I guess it lived under the bed, and because I was so young, I just remember it as being a dream, but at the same time, I think it really did happen. And I think I have a video about that. If I do, I'm gonna link it right here somewhere. Definitely let me know your thoughts. I love this story so much. I don't know if it was like just a made-up story, because I know there's writers on there, a lot of writers. Either way, it was really good. And if it wasn't made up, I think you might be gaslighting yourself. I don't think that was a dream. And if it was, then something in the dream, because dreams aren't just dreams, and I always say this, it was trying to get you. And it kind of did. But luckily, you snapped out of it and you ran away. But anyways, definitely let me know your thoughts, guys. Oh my goodness. I really love this story. It reminds me of like actually two Japanese creatures. One is the Gashadakuru. I don't know. That might not be the name, but it's like a big ass giant skeleton that likes to pick people up and like eat them or something like that. I don't remember. I haven't made a video about that in a long time. Maybe I should make an updated video because I just like to update my videos sometimes. I don't know. But it also reminds me of that lady that's always hungry. I forgot her name. Let me look it up real quick. Futakushi Onna. Okay, the two-mouthed woman or something like that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. What do you think that creature was? And do you think that was a dream? Definitely let me know in the comments. Thank you so much again. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night. And if you're watching this tonight, I hope you have sweet dreams. And if you feel something cold on your ankle, well, it might be that thing. Because now that you know about it, it knows about you too. But only if you don't like this video, okay? I'll see you children in my next video. Oh, and happy Halloween! It's Halloween again! It's always Halloween. It's always Halloween here. As soon as Christmas is over, it's Halloween season again, okay? So, yeah. Have a wonderful night or day. Whatever. Toodles!